Most of my clients are in that sort of $10 to $50 million sales range. I've seen over 1,000 suppliers on this list. Okay, typical is somewhere in the 160 to 300 range. This particular client had 60. That's very good. That's probably the best I've ever seen. This is about a $20 million wholesale distributor up in Seattle, and they had 60 on their list. Well, you'll notice here that I've listed 25. And one of the things you'll notice as you start looking at the 09 spend is that that top supplier is almost 40% of all of their spend. Okay? The top three are 50%. The first line I draw on this chart is where's 50%? How many suppliers do you have in the 50% range? What that means is that half of your materials dollars are spent in 3 suppliers. Now, I typically find that range between 3 and 7. Okay, 3 is really good. Once I had 1. That's almost a little too much, but 3 is really good, and these guys were at 3. Or 50% of their money of the whole 60 was in those top 3 guys. Now, if you're going to go out for cost reduction, who are you going to talk to? You got 60 suppliers on the list. That seems like a daunting task. But only 3 of them are half the money. So it seems like maybe those 3 is where we should focus. If I'm going to develop a supplier partner program, and I'm going to do things like send my engineers out to work with them and make sure that my buyers meet with them periodically and maybe even have an executive champion. When I was VP of Ops, for instance, those top 3 companies, I personally knew their CEO. And if they did something that was causing us grief or if I needed their help, I could call him direct and say, Joe, I need your help. Okay. Now, I wasn't surveying the buyers. I did it always in tremendous coordination with the buyers, but I go, Joe, I need your help. You know, my buyers and your buyers, and is there anything you can do on your end to grease the skids so that we can go? Well, I've only got to know 3 of those guys. You know, I don't need to know 60. And if I really get active, I could know 10. In my prior life, I actually had the CFO who did a couple of these. I was VP of Ops, so I had the CEO do the top 1. I even had the marketing guys do a couple. Now that's you know, you got to be careful. And you can see what their main things that they provided were. And if you look, for instance, at sealants, you know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different companies that provide sealants just on this list. Now, a few of those sealants are different. Most of them are the same. So then you start asking your question, could we consolidate some of that? And if we took, let's say Supplier 8 is new, and it turns out that Supplier 8 is really good. If we went to Supplier 8 and said, you know, there's an opportunity here for about $6 million worth of business, and right now you're only $297,000. If we gave you a significantly larger share of our business, would there be a cost reduction opportunity for us? And believe me, the answer is yeah, we can do some really big things with that.